So hi. Um, so far from what I looked over, you derived the cost function correctly, but partially. So the process here is completely right, but you forgot the fixed cost. So during the question, make sure whenever you're trying to derive the cost function, pay attention for fixed costs because a lot of students do forget that. So instead of just being c equals q squared, it's also c equals q squared plus 16 because of the fixed cost. Don't forget the 16 here. But then marginal cost will still be the same, which is 2q. So what you do here is, because you're trying to solve for a firm and the industry, you have to do MC equals AAC to find your optimum quantity. So if you do that, so you'd have 2q equals q squared plus 16 over q. This is your AC, this is your MC. And then if you solve for q, you'd get q of 4. This is q1. So this is your initial, let's say q naught. Q naught is 4. And then since P equals MC for a competitive firm, you'd have P equals 2Q, which is just 8, right? So now you have that. So in your graph, you'd have that, your MC like that. So MC equals 2Q. And then you'd have a marginal, like, no, average cost curve like that. And then you would put price level as 8 and 4. Like that, and then after that you would have to solve for the industry. So the demand curve is given as 320 minus 20p. So all you have to do is plug in the 8 here, and then you would get quantity demanded of 160. So your big Q is 160. So to find the number of firms in the industry, all you have to do is divide by the quantity produced in the industry divided by the quantity produced in the firm for each firm, and then you would divide 160 by 4, and then you should get 40. The reason why we do this is to find the industry supply curve. We just have to multiply the number of firms by each firm's supply curve. So it's just a horizontal sum. So you'd have Q, this is 40Q, but then this Q, because P equals MC, you can solve like that and then substitute here. So you'd have S equals 20P. So this is your initial state supply curve, and you would have to use that to find so you'd have a demand curve given by 320 minus 20p, so that's your demand. And your supply initial would be 20p. So that. And now going to per unit tax. So per unit tax, it would actually increase the cost, right? So you would have q squared plus $4 per unit. So you have to multiply that by q. So an increased additional unit of q, you would charge $4 more. And then a fixed cost of 16. MC equals 2q. Now, because of this, you'd have 2q plus 4. And then doing P equals MC. Now, when you're doing this, you have to divide your analysis into your short run equilibrium and your long run equilibrium. The difference here is that short run n stays the same. So n0 equals n1, which is 40 here. Whereas in long run, n would change. So P equals MC. Now isolate Q or solve for Q. You would have 2Q P minus 4 Q equals P minus 4 over 2. Now doing that, you can use this thing here. So you'd have your supply curve, so number of firms, which is 40 because it stayed the same, and then plug in the quantity here. So instead of plugging in 4, you plug in this identity here, and then you would have 20p minus 80. So that's your supply curve number 1 after the tax. And then to find your short run equilibrium price and quantity, you just have to do supply 1 equals demand. Solve for P, you should be able to get P1 equals 10. And plug that into Q here. So plug 10 here, then you would get Q1 equals 3. Now, to get your long run, so I'm running out of space, so let me erase. Actually, okay, I'll use this space here. So for a long run, all you have to do is now you'd have to solve for a new N2. So the number of firms, because now it adjusts, you'd have to solve for that. But keep in mind, long run, because MES stays the same, so your Q here would go back to its initial state. So what happened here graphically is because from 4 and 8, you went to 3 and 10. I took the values from here. And now you want average cost, to be the same so that it would be like that. Sorry, the line should go more like that. But the idea here is you want to go back to the quantity of 4 because MES stayed the same. So for picking up from here, you would have Q equals P. Sorry, let me erase this. Okay. So P equals MC here. And then what you would do is P equals to Q plus 4, but in Q, you plug in 4 because it would go back to this initial state. So you would have plus 4. Now P equals 12. So this is P2. And you can find Q2 by plugging this P into here. It would be 4. Yeah, I'm skipping some steps here, so make sure you can go through the steps on your own. And then now you have P here, you can just plug it into your demand, 320 minus 20 P, which is 12. So your big Q here, the industry quantity demanded would be 80. Now you have this and this, you can do N equals 80 over 4, 80 over 4, and then you can solve for the number of firms, so which is 20. So finally you can find the supply 2, which is 20 times the quantity, which is still the same after the tax. It will be still P minus 4 over 2. So now that would come out to be 10P minus 40. Now you can draw this supply initial, and now you would have supply 2, which would probably look like that, supply 1, and then supply 2, which would look, I don't know, like that, maybe. So you should have 3 supply curves, and then now two average cost curves, and then 3 equilibrium points. So yeah, this is a long question because you have to start up with deriving the cost curve. But this is how a full answer should look like. It's quite messy. If you didn't follow some steps, let me know so I can explain the gaps for you.